Hello and welcome to another edition of Pulp Picks. My name is Patrick.
I'm Fritz.
And we're here to give you this week's reading recommendations on New Comic Book Day. It's kind of a weird week. It's a lot of titles. Not a lot of the kind of big titles that we've been seeing a lot of lately, but yeah, it's a good week. So let's dive right in. What did you go with?
Yeah, so my pick this week is Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, issue 4. And so if you need a quick recap on the series, so Superman discovered an asteroid with like some hereto therefore unknown versions of kryptonite, and he's been kind of like testing them out to see what their effects are.
Yeah.
And has come to find out that one of them is actually not kryptonite. It was basically an SOS sent out from the fifth dimension by Mr. Pulpl Picks. So he's gone in there and is not entirely prepared for what he's having to deal with,
as is often the case.
Yeah, so he's in the fifth dimension trying to like help save it from the threat that they're facing, which is very. I won't spoil what it is, but it's very funny when she's like, "Oh yeah, no, that would probably be a big problem for a dimension of pure imagination."
Sure.
Yeah, but so then you've got that. You've got Batman, Lois, and some other characters in the real world trying to like figure out how to help him so he doesn't like die in this other place. You've got Luthor. You kind of like see how his machinations throughout the series have finally like come together. Like, oh, this is what he's been building towards. Like all the little things he's been trying to do, and. Yeah, it's all kind of setting up for the next issue. It's the final issue, the big climax, the big, like, let's punch it out kind of thing. And, yeah, no, this book I've been really enjoying. It's by the people who do Milkman over at Image Comics. And I really love how they've been exploring the notion of Superman is very much defined by, like, this home that he never, like, really got to experience and know. Like, and then the only thing that he has in a lot of ways to connect to it are these rocks that actively kill him.
Right, yeah.
So having to deal with this whole notion of just like, what does like home mean to someone when home is also just death? Like, how does that like impact someone and how they've been using the different like iterations of kryptonite that they've introduced along with like some of the original versions is just kind of an interesting way of exploring that.
Yeah.
And this issue, like it not being exactly kryptonite, but him kind of like all these different thoughts have been percolating in his head, like coming to the floor in this pure imagination world. Just how he's able to kind of like cope with that is very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's super fun. I love they really play with the layout in here with some of the sequences where it's just like choose a different art style or maybe like choose like it being like an informational thing, like it's a super fun way that they do that. This whole series has just been like incredibly fun, really good, like kind of like character study for Superman. Him just kind of like reevaluating like what it means, his relationship with like both like Krypton and like the people around him. It's just really good.
I love seeing creative teams who work really well together tackling totally different things.
Yeah.
It's really fun to see them bounce around and do other stuff. So, yeah.
Also just really one of the best like evil Luthors in here. Like this is like, because sometimes some people write Luthor with, there's like, oh, you can see where like maybe he could have been like a good person at some points and this like kind of thing. Sure. This one's just like, no, he just like casually talks about like people dying for his experiments. Like, screw him. Like, it's great. Like I don't know. Luthor's is one of those characters where I feel like sometimes there's a lot more like depth to him than some people realize. But in that same breath, it's just like sometimes you can just write him as this like straightforward, like, oh, he's just a bad guy, and it just works perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Really, really enjoyed this. Looking forward to the next issue, the final issue. You've got a little something different, a little kind of like standalone story there for.
Yeah, well, I mean, something different in that I keep picking this title, but I went with Fantastic Four number 5, and as we've said when we've picked other issues in this Ryan North run, which is longer than number 5, because he was on the previous numbering as well. A lot of these, while they're kind of connected in a larger way, they are standalone stories. You don't have to have read, just a basic knowledge of the Fantastic Four and who the characters are, and here's all you need, and you can pick up an individual issue, and typically it's a self-contained story. So this one is that Reed, Johnny, and Ben are heading off on a fishing trip in the negative zone. And so Sue and Alicia are going to be home alone. And what's going to happen? Well, almost immediately, Felicia Hardy shows up at their door with a whole bunch of cops around who are trying to arrest her for murder, and she asks for sanctuary. Well, the Fantastic Four aren't a church, so
also doesn't help when she shows up. She's also like covered in blood.
Yeah. So Sue does not care for Black Cat at all. They just don't seem to have much in common, and she's done things to rub Sue the wrong way. So when she asks Sue for help, she's asking her to bail her out or whatever, and Sue's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do any of that. Why? We're not friends, and this seems like something that you might do." And she said, "Well, if you're not going to bail me out, at least look into this, because I don't just go around killing people. Like, what, this isn't me." And Sue kind of begrudgingly says, "Yeah, something's not right here. Even if I don't like Black Cat, I should probably look into it." So now the murder mystery detective work starts. And it's very, Agatha Christie-like, I would say, in that, this crime seems to not be possible to be committed by anybody else. It had to be Felicia. But why would she do it so badly? Like, she's a world-class cat burglar. Why would she be so bad at this? So yeah, it was really fun. I'm enjoying the creative team of North and Ramos. They're doing a really fun job. And this one was, I will admit, like, the answer to it was kind of a quick comic put a bow on it kind of thing. It was still a fun ride.
One of the things I really enjoyed with this issue is, a big part of it is like kind of like Sue coming to like reevaluate how she views Black Cat as as a person. Like, I really enjoy when you have superhero books where it's just like, oh yeah, like not all these people get along,
right?
Like, because like so often it's just like, oh, it's this like big superhero community, everyone's like friends and everything. Just like it's a lot more interesting when there's like certain people where it's just like, no, they just like aren't fans of each other. Like I've seen like examples of like, oh, Storm doesn't like Spider-Man for whatever reason, or there's the classic like Green Arrow and Hawkman just like are diametrically opposed. And it's just like I don't know. It's fun when you can like it makes it then feel more like real people,
right? Yes.
In terms of just like, yeah, no, you're not going to like, even in like a work environment, there's not always going to be like people who are as close with each other as there are others.
Right. It's funny that you say that. This morning I was reading an article about how B. Arthur and Betty White didn't really get along behind the scenes at Golden Girls because they were they approached the work so differently.
Or like Jamie and Adam on Mythbusters.
Yeah,
where
right.
Everyone watches the show and it's like, oh, they seem
they
like
must be best friends.
And then you find out it's just like, no, they like outside the show really don't ever.
It's actually kind of a funny. Jamie would have been the B. Arthur type character, very serious and whatever, and So it's just a lot of fun to, like you say, add some of these human elements to them and not have, which is kind of I think. When you look at the history of comic book storytelling, is one of the things that the Marvel Age really started leaning much more heavily into was, what are these people like as people in their real life? Like the secret identity shouldn't just be something that is kind of a really basic plot point that they just take off their glasses or put on the cowl, and that's the character that we're here to see. We spend a lot of time with Peter Parker as Peter Parker, and how Spider-Man is having a negative impact on his life. So to keep driving into that, these are real people. That just because they have the same job doesn't mean that they get along.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, well.
Speaking of people that maybe aren't getting along, we've got Transformers 26 for our joint pick this week.
Yeah.
And yeah, continuing the new era of Kirkman and Mora. And man, I get just how much they're like fitting in here. Like there's so many different like plates that he's spinning, and the fact that all of them feel like they're moving forward in some capacity.
Well, and if you were at all worried that Mora's art was going to be too clean, too shiny, that there wouldn't be that kind of, I don't want to say level of violence, but it's pretty accurate because the previous artists on here have been able to show a lot of energy and robot violence, and I feel like Mora has really adapted to that. Maybe it's just that we don't typically see him on that kind of thing, and this is really in his wheelhouse. But we see half-assembled robots in here quite a bit, and they look really gritty and dirty. And I think we were talking about that kind of lived-in kind of feel of Star Wars, the original 3 movies, where everything was kind of grimy and not perfect. Getting that from Dan Mora here.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, there's a bunch of different things happening. So we've got the Autobots. They seem to be finally making more like human allies that are going to be able to help them like recover and maybe like do something other than just like constantly be on the back foot.
Or are they?
Yes. We've got Thundercracker is desperately trying to find a way to get Skywarp fixed, and there's definitely some contention amongst the Autobots about like how much they should like bother helping with that, because like you've got like people like Optimus who are just like, listen, we can't ever like stop this war if we don't like find a way to like not keep killing each other.
Right.
Like
if we can't find common ground.
Yeah, like there's no version of this that I really call like a win. So I just want whatever version involves the least amount of dying. But you've obviously got other people where it's like, man, we've suffered so much, like I'm very leery of doing anything that might like allow the enemy to like get another shot at killing us.
Yeah.
So you've got that. You've got stuff on Cybertron like with Elita 1 and Cliffjumper. We get to touch in a little with some of the more antagonistic characters. Yeah,
and with the Elita 1 and Cliffjumper, you're running into that same dynamic again. Cliffjumper's wanting to do what's right for kind of everybody, and Elita 1 is trying to win a war.
I love Elita 1. She's like, why is everyone so obsessed with this stupid planet Earth? Like, what? Why is it making all of you idiots? Like, like it's a fun little exchange. And we get to kind of see how things are going there, like who's all kind of like still standing, or maybe not standing so much is the word.
Yeah, and we also have an interesting moment with Miles Mayhem where I think they have done a really cool job of tying together how Mask is going to spin out of all this. Because it is, if you think about it in a really basic level, Mask was kind of a halfway step between Earth technology and Transformer technology, so it could be interesting to see where they go with this. Yeah,
and it again, like more just like, and even like the quiet moments. There's like this bit where Spike and Carly are in Chicago, still helping with like the cleanup, and you get these nice little human moments with them.
That frame, it was so good.
Like every little thing in here, and we were talking because like. So Moore is only going to be on for these 6 issues. It looks like starting next year, he's going to be trying to like probably like pull back the scope of how many things he's doing, which is probably good for him. He's doing a lot. I don't know how he manages it, to be honest, but yeah. So I'm super excited. We were like bouncing around ideas like, who might come on after him, and the one you mentioned is Chris Samney, which I think would be really really cool. Yeah, but like he's killing here. Like I talked about this last issue. I really worried about the transition between creative teams, and they're killing it here.
Yeah,
like no complaints.
It's been great. It feels really seamless. Isn't quite the right word, but it dovetails really well with the previous volume.
Yeah,
so, fantastic. Right.
I just again want to say like also I mentioned a little like Thundercracker. Really enjoying like. It's something you've seen with like versions of Thundercracker and other like Transformers media, but I really like the way they're doing it here too.
Yeah, it was really cool. But I thought that the whole way that he looked at Skywarp as a brother that was somehow a stronger connection than just other Decepticons.
Yeah.
It was really fun. So yeah, all right. Well, lots of good stuff here. What else did you like this week? What was close to making?
Let's see. New issue of Supergirl was really good. It's a Thanksgiving issue, appropriately themed, but also Thanksgiving, but with like shark people and sea hags and sometimes tiny gorillas. But Tiny Tano is just. I need more of Tiny Tano.
Yep.
But no, that was good. New Godzilla Dead Zone, new Beneath the Trees, which very nearly made it up here. Like I really thought about it.
It's so twisted.
I was saying to you before, it's like watching a car crash about to happen where you can't stop it. Like, but you see like, oh, everything bad is about to like just happen,
and somebody is really enjoying the show.
Yeah, I have some theories about how that might all play out, but like I'm definitely excited for the next issue. Yeah, it's really good. What other stuff did you enjoy?
Yeah, Beneath the Trees was my big other pick. I'm also if you're not picking up the facsimiles for the DC classic issues right now, you really should look into it, because we've got the whole concept of the JSA from Earth 1 meeting the JLA and whatever is the, which is Justice League number, I don't remember off the top of my head.
I can't see from here.
But it's a facsimile, and they're doing it in a way where, and Marvel's doing that with Fantastic Four right now, but with the
which is also out this week.
Which is also out this week and is also a good issue. My only critique of the Marvel ones is it's on such glossy paper that the art is presented in a totally different way than it was intended originally. It's kind of like colorizing a black and white film, you know, like, yeah, it can still be enjoyable, but it's not quite what the creators intended.
Yeah.
Whereas DC is printing it on a very similar type of paper stock to what the original art would have been printed on. So you get kind of that feel of, oh, this is what it would have been like to crack open this book back in the day and kind of feel this and see the way that the art was intended to be presented. You know, because when you're drawing and inking and coloring something specifically for this 4-color printing process on a pulpy piece of paper, that's different from something that's computerized and computer colored and, you know, the type of gradation and you know, high definition and everything. It's just a different kind of vibe. So it's kind of a fun little time machine. So anyway, I recommend it. Even if you're just picking it up at your shop and flipping through it, it's fun. So
also, if you either have seen Predator Badlands or are going to, there's a little prequel comic out this week that is, like, you don't need to read it to like enjoy the film or whatever, but if you are like, I need more Adventures of Dec and his brother Quay, like, check it out.
I wanted to pick it up, but I'm planning on seeing the movie yet, so I didn't.
Really,
I want to go into it as blind.
Really,
as
the only spoiler that the book gives you is that, like, man, Dec's dad is kind of an asshole. Which you learn pretty quick in the movie, anyway. So.
Yeah, well, I wasn't. Yeah, I just, you know, I like going in as blind as possible sometimes, just to be surprised. And it sounds like it's going to be pleasantly surprised. I've had a number of people tell me it's a good show.
Dan Trachtenberg is 3 for 3 in terms of Predator stuff he's done. It was really good.
Yeah, well, you went up to Twin Cities Con this last weekend. Any takeaways from that for you?
Boy, it's a fun con. Just getting to go through all the aisles, seeing all the different vendors, both people like selling like merch or like their personal art, seeing the comics people they had up there because they had a lot. I know a couple of our regulars were up there. They got to check out like Ryan Stegman and Patrick Gleason, friend of the store, Brent Schoonover was there. Yeah, a lot of people. I stopped off at Phil Hester's table for you. Got something cool for the store.
Yeah, I was very excited.
That maybe y'all get to see at some point.
Yeah. I really liked Gotham City here.
I got to take a picture with Ahmed Best.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, those shows are fun. It's so fun to meet the creators and kind of pick their brains a little bit and just kind of see who are the people behind the panels. But yeah. All right. Well, we do this every single week. So if you're looking for comic book recommendations or you just like, you know, seeing what's available out there, be sure to tune in. In the meantime, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, comment, share, stop on into your local comic shop and support them. They are truly one of the last bastions of independent business out there. There's not like a giant corporate chain of comic book stores out there. It's all mom and pop shops.
Can you imagine that even like?
I mean, I've tried to, and I understand why they don't.
Yeah.
But it's this. I don't know. Whatever. Just do the thing. Do the thing. Support your local comic shop. So we will be back next week with more Pulp Picks. Until then, enjoy the reading.